Hello and welcome to the Create a Smile video hub. I'm very happy to be part of it. Before I begin, I just want to mention that English is not my native language. It's the first time that I do a video in English. I hope you will understand me. So if I say anything wrong, please forgive me. Okay, let's start. For this card, I chose the Cool Buddies stamp set from Create a Smile. I couldn't resist and I decided to use the penguins. They are my absolute favorite in this set because I love penguins. I stamped the bigger penguin and the hat with black memento ink. Then I colored the images with Copic markers. I always color my images first. People often do ask me about my color combinations, but mostly I don't know which colors I used. I pick Copic markers in my jar and I add a little bit of this shade, then a little bit of another one. Sometimes I use 10 different shades and sometimes only 3 or 4. It really depends. I only can remember which are the gray shades and also the skin tones I used, but even then I'm never sure. As you can see, I always have a little piece of paper next to me. To make sure that the different shades I chose would look great together, I test them out on a little piece of paper. I have no rules, I just love playing with all colors, and this is the most important for me. After I finished coloring the penguins and the hat, I fussy cutted them out with sharp scissors. I ran a black marker pen around the edges to give more definition and also to hide any white bits. Here I used foam pads to make the penguins stand out even more. Then it was time to play with the penguin and the hat to find the best way to use them together. Sometimes I change my mind at this moment and the card becomes totally different. I went ahead and cut it a piece of cardstock. I used a similar paper to Nina cardstock, or perhaps it was Nina cardstock, I can't remember. I decided to create a sky background using distress inks and blending tools. I chose different blue shades and went from lighter to darker ink. I think I used tumbler glass, broken china, salty ocean and stormy sky. Again, there was no plan. I simply played with the colors until I was happy. I did speed up this video. This is 4 times as fast as I did in real life. I would love to clean my house this fast. I added ink layers until I got what I want. I did the center area lighter than the edges, but you will understand later why. The piece of paper was a little bit wet after I blended all colors together, so before I went ahead, I dried the cardstock with my heat gun. I tried to put all elements together to check if it works. The idea was to create a very simple snowy scene with a ray of light and sparkling stars that went from the hat into the sky. I die-cutted snowy hills with my die-cutting machine. I used the Grand Caliber from Spellbinders. The dies are from Lawn Fawn. I cutted the edges with a table trimmer. I love this one. I used a sentiment from the same set as the penguin. The sentiment says Merry Christmas, but I just cut the stamp between the words so that I could use the word Christmas alone. It's much easier than to mask the memory. I used one of my favorite tools, the Stampa Magique, to align the sentiment that I stamped down with Hero Art's black ink. To get more interest, I added a tiny heart beside the sentiment. I do add some tiny hearts, sequins or enamel dots on almost every card. They are the perfect final touch for me. I glued the heart down to the cardstock with multi-medium. To create the ray of sparkling stars, I used a stencil from Create a Smile called Wave of Stars. I love it. I used tape to fix my stencil in place. I also covered up the edges with print paper. When you do it this way, you don't have to worry about a mess. For more dimension, I decided to apply a layer of texture paste. This is Lascaux Light Modeling Paste. I got this one before I started using it for crafting. I try to use what I have in my stash, and it works well for me. I applied the paste with a painter knife, and then I removed the stencil carefully. Before the paste dried, I added some clear glitter embossing powder. This is not my favorite glitter embossing powder, and I think next time I will use another one. Then I set the paper aside and left it dry, but it dries super fast. Once it was dry, I heat embossed the stars. At this point, I just had to attach everything together. I chose basil white cardstock for the card base. I love dimension on my cards, so I added pop dots to this layer too. I changed my mind and I decided to round the top corners of this layer with a corner punch. Okay, that's the end. I hope you had fun and you got inspired. Don't forget, this is a video hub. You will find the link to the next stop at the end of this video. You just have to click to the link to go to the next stop. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye!